When you think of two gladiators willing to die in the ring, go out on their shield, you think of the great Mexican boxers such as Canelo Alvarez, Salvador Sanchez, and the great Julio Cesar Chavez. You also have to mention Emmanuel El Vaquero Navarrete and Oscar Valdez, as they will be getting it on live on December 7th in Phoenix, Arizona, officially being a rematch. This is one fight you guys do not want to miss. I'm your boy Mac. Welcome back once again to the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. Let's talk boxing.
Welcome back to the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. My name's Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And today we will be talking about an immaculate rematch between Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valdez happening December 7th in Phoenix, Arizona. Of course, we know the first fight was very, very exciting. We had both fighters come out, give a showcase display of what a Mexican war really is. But of course, Emmanuel Navarrete got his hand raised, being the better fighter of the night.
Yeah, the first fight was a hell of a fight. I thought that if you look at it again, it could have gone both ways, but Navarrete was a little bit too awkward, a little bit too much for Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez gave a valiant effort, but I just feel like this rematch is going to, in my opinion, the tables are going to turn on this one because what happened with Navarrete.
Well, we know that Navarrete, after taking a decision against Oscar Valdez, moved up to lightweight. Of course, he did suffer a loss against Baranchik. That was for a title. But he is coming back down, and he's still technically the champion. I believe he is the WBA champion of the featherweight division. So this means they're still going to fight for a belt. We know that Oscar Valdez is the WBC interim, so this is going to be an exciting fight. Like you said, Oscar Valdez showed a great effort. He landed a lot of those left hooks.
Yeah, he did.
Which is his famous signature punch. But again, I feel like Navarrete is too big for the division, and I feel like that's really what separates him from Oscar Valdez. The fact that he was able to take Oscar Valdez's best shots all night, and he kept putting that awkward pressure, smart pressure on Oscar Valdez is what got him the win in the first fight.
And I'm pretty sure you will agree with me here, but I feel like every time Valdez has fought, haven't you noticed that he's always, was one step from being fantastic, from being amazing. He's always been one step behind. Like he's been going through hard fights, but it's just he hasn't been, how can I say, reaching his full potential in each fight.
And sometimes that kind of makes me think if that's due to the trainer. Eddie Reynoso is a Hall of Fame trainer, one of the best trainers out there, but sometimes just because they're Hall of Fame trainers doesn't mean they match your style.
Yeah.
I think Oscar Valdez is great, but honestly, when you look back to the fights before Eddie Reynoso, it seems like he'd just throw a different types of punches. It really seems like all of Eddie Reynoso's fighters throw the typical, left hooks, power shots, jab, jab, power shots, jab, jab, power shots. And to me, for someone like Oscar Valdez, who's a gut-wrenching warrior that's going to go in there every time and give his best effort, it just seems to me that he has to have a smarter game plan. Not just, we know what he's about. We know he's a warrior. We know he's willing to go down and fight on his back, get knocked out, do whatever he has to do to win. But at the same time, it's not just always about being a warrior. It's about being the smarter fighter to be able to defeat those great fighters that are in your weight division.
Now, I felt like in Oscar Valdez's last fight, he seemed more versatile than ever. I feel like that really boosted up his confidence, the way he fought. I was just amazed that he was able to counterpunch the way he did. And I feel like if he were to, not fight on the back foot, but counterpunch the way he did, there's a chance he could drop Navarrete for good this time.
And I think that's just his main style is counterpunching. I think when we look at someone like Oscar Valdez, he's always putting up pressure. He always wants to go on the inside, fight on the inside. That's where he's most comfortable, landing all those vicious left hooks. But at the same time, like you said, sometimes countering, his most devastating knockout that came from a left hook. On the back foot. And that's when he was fighting Miguel Berchelt. He knocked him out with the crazy left hook. Of course, it was a counterpunch. So again, we got to look at something like that. Oscar Valdez is a hell of a warrior. When you look at this guy, he's always fighting the best competition. He fought Shakur Stevenson when nobody wanted to fight Shakur Stevenson. He fought a dangerous fighter, Robson Conceição, and it was a close fight. A lot of people favored Conceição, but he still took the win, and then he fought Navarrete. The fact that he's willing to fight again when he's an interim champion and risk it all on the line, if he loses this fight, he's going to have to take another step back. But that's what makes a true warrior.
Now, whoever wins this fight, where do you see their next steps going? Do you see them trying to become undisputed at super featherweight? Or do you see the champion going up in weight? How do you see this in the future playing out?
I think that's their goal. I think if Navarrete wins, I think Navarrete is big for the weight class. I think he's still going to want to go back up to lightweight and, give his best efforts to try to become a champion there. But I think if Oscar Valdez wins, I think that's his perfect weight class. I don't think he could compete at 135. Although he is a great fighter, I think he's just naturally too small. But, there is mega fights out there. I'm sure that if he got offered a Gervonta Davis or Vasily Lomachenko fight at 135, I'm sure he'd move up.
Yep.
But I think he would want to unify. We got great fighters in this division. We got Oshaki Foster. We got people like Anthony Kakase. We got a lot of fighters on this roster. So Lamont Roach, who's supposed to fight Gervonta Davis, I think Oscar Valdez's best option would be to become undisputed.
So for my final prediction, guys, I do have Oscar Valdez winning this by split decision. I feel like that he has learned in his last couple fights that, maybe not going forward and counterpunching that way would work, but stepping on the back foot and watching Navarrete overstep and counter him with a left hook.
I think that's a good breakdown, but to be honest, I still got to favor Navarrete. I feel like he just gives an awkward style. You know what I mean? We know Navarrete is longer than Oscar Valdez. We know he's a stronger fighter than Oscar Valdez. Apart from that, Navarrete is there to be hit.
Yeah, he is.
He is there to be hit. He doesn't have the best defense. He does get hit a lot, but again, I think that goes back to him being big for the weight class. I think he could naturally take those punches from the smaller fighters, and I think the fact that he's so long, throws those lead uppercuts, those shovel uppercuts, he landed a lot of those against Oscar Valdez.
But he's been dropped multiple times already.
He has, but so has Valdez. Valdez has been dropped a couple times, tasted the canvas. I feel like the difference here, though, is that Oscar Valdez is very fragile. Every time after a fight, you always see him with a messed up face. He has bruises all over the place. He has blood clots. And obviously that doesn't mean much. The guy did fight with a broken jaw, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He's a warrior. We know that. But at the end of the day, I just feel like Navarrete has the better tool set. He uses more punches. He uses left hooks. He uses right hooks. He uses lead uppercuts. He uses jabs. He uses strong right hands. And I just think it's hard to beat a guy like that. He's just awkward. He fights so ugly, but it's so entertaining to watch. And I honestly, I have Navarrete winning. I don't think nobody gets knocked out. I think we will see a knockdown in this fight. I think we will see a knockdown, maybe even two. But I do believe it'll go to unanimous decision, where I think Emmanuel Navarrete will take the win. And, hopefully from there, we could see a third fight. If it's competitive enough, there could be a third fight, like Eric Morales versus Marco Antonio Barrera and all the great Mexican champions before. But let us know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think this is going to be an exciting fight? And are you guys excited to be tuning in December 7th in Arizona? Thank you guys again for tuning in. My name's Eric.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm your boy, Mag. Thank you guys once again for tuning into the Pound for Pound Boxing channel. As usual, make sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And we're out.